Yes, folks, it's Tales from the Jails with John G. Sutton. Thank you very much for watching this channel. Do please like and subscribe. Just have a little click down below and it really helps the channel. I'm going to talk today about radicalisation and the clampdown by the Home Secretary Yvette Cooper on what I believe to be an insult to free speech in this country. We are living in a democracy. Of course, the problem is that democratically we elected a massive Labour presence in the government, and they are using this to behave in what I believe to be an extremely authoritarian manner. They are clamping down on demonstrations, legitimate demonstrations, and we're not talking here about the madmen who throw bricks, bottles and firebombs and fireworks at the police. We're talking here about people who've got a legitimate point to make. Recently they imprisoned some lady for making an adverse comment on, I believe it was Facebook or whatever it is, Messenger. And of course she's not hurt anybody. I mean, and it may very well be that her comments were designed to actually create adverse reaction in society. And if we've got that, we don't need that. But the thing is, if you've got a point of view, and we all to a certain extent have a point of view, not everybody wants to be vocal about it, but if you've got a point of view, you must be at liberty to express that point of view, so long as you aren't advocating violence. Because violence breeds violence, and all you're going to get is the police are going to be empowered to undertake extreme means whereby the protests, or the riots, are going to be dispersed by fair means or foul. I mean, everybody says, oh, what a wonderful guy Boris Johnson was. No, he was. I don't believe he was. Anyway, personally, it's my point of view. You know, you may have your point of view. My point of view is that he's a bumbling idiot. He bought in to Greater London water cannons that he was going to disperse demonstrations with. Water cannons. Now, I've not ever seen anybody who's been hit with a water cannon. It knocks them sideways. It knocks them all over the place. They're powerful things. And that is what Boris Johnson was advocating for use on the streets of London, our capital city. And also, it's been pointed out that there is a two-tier system of policing in this country. That is that for one group of individuals, shall we call them the far right? Yeah, okay. They get a certain style of treatment from the police, and the other group, shall we call them the ethnic minority groups? Because there's been an ethnic minority group march through central London recently, which was handled with kid gloves. And they were protesting about the act of Israel in Gaza and Palestine. And basically, they went through London quite peacefully. Whereas the demonstrations against migrants from, let's call them the far right, they were to a certain extent brutalised, but they bring this upon themselves. And I absolutely believe that in this society, a democratic society that elected a government that is now behaving in an authoritarian manner, with Yvette Cooper saying she's going to introduce a system whereby people who preach hate online are going to be dealt with in a rapid and extreme manner, so the full weight of the law. And indeed, there's been one lady who recently posted up something, it probably innocently, or maybe she was aiming to cause upset, distress, and encourage people to engage in brutality on the streets. It's madness, by the way. I mean, definitely throwing bricks, bottles, fireworks, everything else at the police is madness. The police in this country have traditionally gone about their duties with the support of the people. because that's how policing in this country works, by consent. By actually attacking the police and throwing bricks at them, whatever it is, shouting abuse, then they're losing that consent. And once the police lose that consent, then we are going to enter into a policing situation which will not be too dissimilar from certain areas, other areas of the world, where if you were to approach a policeman on the streets and punch one on the nose, you'd be taken out of there in a black bag, because they'd shoot you dead, without question. Do we really want a system like that? Because what happened at Manchester Airport was disgraceful. I mean, the police officers were brutally attacked by these two brothers, I believe. One police officer, a female, had her nose broken. And then, of course, the police went over the top and kicked one of them in the head, which kind of, it had the opposite. If they'd just restrained the man, I mean, he was already on the floor, he would have been properly arrested, placed before the courts, and would now be likely to be serving a term of imprisonment. Of course, the problem that we've got with prisons at the moment is that they are radicalising ethnic minority groups. You've got people like Abu Hamza, who, I mean, you only got to look at the guy. He blew his own arms off preparing some kind of bomb that was going to be used to kill people, maim them, or cause deep destruction to the property of Great Britain. So there's a fine example for you. Yeah, but there are many, many others inside the prisons who are forming groups that are being radicalised and forming themselves into kind of like terrorist cells almost. The system has to be dealt with it. Of course, the problem is in the prisons that you don't have the big boys anymore. There may be one or two around, but lots of them are hostesses. And what can the host... I mean, they're laughing at them, seriously. I have numerous people who have just been released from prison who are sending me messages saying it's a laughing stock. They have no authority in there whatsoever. Now, when I was in there, I mean, it's a while ago now, but we had a warrant card. And it said on that warrant card that during the commission of my duties as a prison officer, I had all the powers of a police constable. And I would exercise that power. But if you've got privatised prisons, you've not got people who've taken an oath and hold the Queen's warrant. They don't. What they have are private citizens working for a private company for profit. And what is happening? Well, because they're working for the company has to produce profit, they're hiring cheapest labour they can get, which seems to be the hostess system. Hence, we've got prisons running with some of prisons have gone in 40, 50, even 60% of the staff are females. And as I previously said before, there is one particular prison, HMP Berwyn, where 38 members of their staff, female staff, have been charged and placed before the courts and sentenced for inappropriate behaviour in public office. You know, in other words, having relationships outside of the scope of their duties with the inmates. And this, of course, is what's happening. But to speak about that must be it's my right to speak about that. However, you have a look what Yvette Cooper is proposing. And she is suggesting, with the full authority of the Labour Party, which has a majority of about 175 in Parliament, she is suggesting that no, we're going to have a crackdown on anybody who is posting up what could be construed, however, correctly, by somebody's whim, as being an attack upon the authority of the government or the state. That is totalitarianism, and we can't allow it. We cannot allow it. It's that time of day, folks. And do make a comment down below, I'm not the be-all and end-all on this, I just give you my opinion. And it is my opinion. And don't forget, I've seen it. I've seen what the National Front can do when they're running marches and attacking their own marches. Ridiculous stuff. Anyway, I'm going to read you a poem now. It's a particularly nice poem. It's about the futility of materialism. In my opinion, that's what it is. It's called Ozymandias of Egypt by Percy Bysshe Shelley. Are you sitting comfortably? Larry isn't, he's chasing his goat. Anyway, here we go. Ozymandias of Egypt. I met a traveller from an antique land who said, 2 vast and trunkless legs of stone stand in the desert. Near them, on the sand, half sunk, a shattered visage lies, whose frown and wrinkled lip and sneer of cold command tell that its sculptor well those passions knew, which yet survive, stamped on these lifeless things, the hand that mocked them, and the heart that fed. And on the pedestal these words appear. My name is Ozymandias, King of Kings. Look on my works, ye mighty, and despair. Nothing besides remains round the decay of that colossal wreck, boundless and bare. The lone and level sands stretch far away. Ozymandias of Egypt by Percy Bysshe Shelley. I sincerely hope that you enjoy this Tales from the Jails. Do please like and subscribe and get a link to my book down there. Tales from the Jails.